close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better
that Neymar
chances.
Could possibly dig in behind was Marquinhos.
Long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 at the break. The only goal of the first half coming on 32 minutes. Mason Mount with a lovely turn away from Zaidu Sanusi in the area, and he finished nicely right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner. Despite leading though, Chelsea have largely been on the back foot. Porto have certainly had the better chances. Uribe came close from long range. Otavio almost beat Edouard Mendy straight from a corner, and from the resulting save, Zaidu Sanusi fired over from close range. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1.
And it's a very warm welcome back to our independent off-tube studio commentary of this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie taking place at the Ramón Sánchez Pizjuán in Seville. As you were just hearing, it's Porto 0, Chelsea 1 heading into this second half. Mason Mount with a superb right foot strike on 32 minutes, separating the two sides as Porto get the second period underway. No changes to the respective starting 11, so it's as you were with the two teams. Porto going from left to right in this second period in their traditional blue and white colours. Chelsea in their changed pink strip this evening. I'm Tom McGarry, and I'll be talking you through the rest of this evening's coverage. I'll quickly run you through the two 11s. Marchesin in goal for Porto. Manafa, Mbemba, Pepe and Sanusi make up the back four. Corona, Grujic, Uribe, Otavio and Diaz in the midfield. Very fluid midfield as well when Porto come forward, with Musa Marega playing up front. For Chelsea, Mendy's in goal. Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger are the back three. James and Chilwell the wing backs, with Jorginho and Kovacic sitting in the middle of the park, and then goalscorer Mount and Timo Werner supporting Kai Havertz through the middle. Werner in particular had a quiet opening 45 minutes. Chelsea in possession at the start of this second half. They did boss the first period in terms of possession, but it was actually Porto who had the better opportunities besides from the goal. Kovacic bringing this ball forward now for Chelsea. He's carried it a long way, found his Mount on the right hand side. His cross is in towards Werner, and it was a free header for Timo Werner inside the opening 90 seconds of this second period. Mount's cross, Werner was trying to hang it in the air. I think he was on the way down as he made contact with his header, which meant he got underneath it and it flew over the top of the crossbar. He rather mistimed his jump there, Timo Werner, you have to say. That was a glorious opportunity to put Chelsea 2-0 up on the night, give them two crucial away goals as well. He's struggled, hasn't he, since joining Chelsea from RB Leipzig, Timo Werner. Hasn't scored as many goals as I'm sure he would like. Just couldn't quite divert that effort on target. But signs of encouragement at the start of this second half for Chelsea. That's probably the best chance they've created other than the goal. They have a throw-in on the left-hand flank now that Chilwell takes back towards Rudiger. Now Christensen to Kovacic on the halfway line. The Croatian gets it back off Jorginho. Porto press Chelsea all the way back to the goalkeeper Mendy. Rudiger now. As I mentioned at the start of the first half, he was reportedly involved in that bust-up with Kepa Arrizabalaga in training for Chelsea on Sunday, the day after their 5-2 defeat to West Brom in the Premier League. In the starting lineup this evening. Incidentally, in terms of Kepa, he is amongst the substitutes as well tonight. There's a foul on Sanusi, so free kick to Porto 3 minutes into the second half. Reece James the judged guilty party. I don't think he did an awful lot wrong there, other than just be stronger than Zaidu Sanusi. Free kick to Porto nonetheless. And a chance for them to lift the ball forward. Marchesin, the goalkeeper, does so. He sends it out towards Marega, who is such a strong physical forward, and he wins his aerial duel there, but can't find a teammate with his knockdown. Rudiger has it for Chelsea. Coming the ball forwards and then just rolls it inside towards Andreas Christensen. Incidentally, the second half just getting underway in the other Champions League last 16 tie this evening between Bayern Munich and PSG. PSG leading 2-1 heading into the second half. 2 away goals for Mauricio Pochettino's side. So both away teams winning at the moment. Last night, Manchester City beat Borussia Dortmund by 2-1 at the Etihad, and Real Madrid beat Liverpool 3-1 at the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium. The winner of that tie plays the winner of this one in the semi-finals. As Otavio works the ball out to Sanusi on the left-hand side for Porto. Now, Luis Diaz. Back to Sanusi once again, who's supported by Uribe. Otavio, who's probably been Porto's most influential player so far, looking to switch the ball out to Jesus Corona, who controls. Will need the support, you would suspect, of Manafa. He's trying to do it all himself at the moment. Oh, he's stepped inside Chilwell and Werner really nicely there, Corona. I think he went down a little easily looking for the free kick. Whether he's going to get on the end of the ball, I'm not sure. Chilwell did have his right arm across him, so I think the referee has. Even though he hasn't given the free kick, actually, Slavko Vincic of Slovenia. As I say, Corona went down easily and was perhaps looking for it, but there was contact from Chilwell on the winger. Also have possession again with Manafa. Almost took a heavy touch there as the last man, which might have allowed Kai Havertz to nip in. Mbemba wasn't happy with the aerial challenge initially on him from Havertz, and he actually indicated to the referee that he needs to show a card to Kai Havertz. The referee didn't even give a free kick as the ball forward. That's a great ball in behind to Marega. Chance for Porto. Marega saved by Edouard Mendy. The angle was against the striker. Lovely ball from Manafa in behind Antonio Rudiger, who is appealing for offside. He wasn't Marega. As I say, he's tried to fire that low, and Edouard Mendy gets his right leg to it to make the save. Manafa's ball was perfect. Marega's effort saved the resulting corner into was the far post. Sanusi can't make contact with the volley. Porto will have to go again from a deeper position. Manafa out to Sanusi, who crosses, takes a deflection, cleared away at the front post by Christensen. Werner fails to control though for Chelsea. Diaz has it in the middle of the park for FC Porto. Lively start to this second half for both teams. Pepe with a long angled switch will be cut out though comfortably by Chilwell, although now it will reach the intended target, Jesus Corona, who links up with Manafa down the right hand side. Marega getting involved as well. Chelsea just about scramble it clear, at least the relative safety of out for a throw-in, which Porto have taken quickly. Corona, lovely drop of the shoulder, tries to release the ball into the penalty area. Down goes Luis Diaz, but it's good strong defending from Azpilicueta, who claims goal kick, and he gets the decision. There's a half-hearted appeal from Diaz towards the referee, but he was never going to get a penalty in that situation. Lively start to the second half, still Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Both sides, though, have had chances. First of all, for Chelsea, Mason Mount's cross from the right-hand side. Timo Werner, free header, 7 yards out, but he seems to mistime his jump. He's on the downward as he makes contact with the ball, and it flies over the top of the crossbar. At the other end, lovely weighted ball from Wilson Manafa, the right back for Porto, in behind from Moussa Marega. The angle's tight for him. He's in behind, as I say, the Chelsea defence, but he can't find a way past the legs of Edouard Mendy in the Chelsea goal. Good start to the second half, though. Entertaining stuff, and it remains Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Yeah, it does feel like there's at least another goal in this tie. Depending on which way it goes, could have huge ramifications on the actual outcome of the tie as well. 2-0 lead for Chelsea in their away leg would be fantastic, but if Porto get back to 1-1, it would really tighten things up heading into that second leg.
Chelsea were forced to a corner, incidentally. Pepe felt he was fouled by Mason Mount, but the referee, between him and his assistant, have given the corner the way of the Blues. And the likes of Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta making their way forward from the back. What's the delivery going to be like from Reece James? Usually good, but he's taking it too quickly there for the referee's liking, who wants to have a word with, I think, Pepe, Azpilicueta as well. It might be the two captains that the referee's bringing across for a conversation. Azpilicueta and Sanusi it was who were holding on to each other. Nothing much in it, certainly nothing more than you would normally see in those kind of situations. Referee's had his word though. James will deliver once again, headed clear by Marega. Back doing his defensive work there, the Porto striker. Kovacic helps it back forward for Chelsea in rather unassuming fashion. Scrap for the ball over on the left, which Grujic for Porto comes out on top, and that's a lovely drive forward from Marco Grujic, on loan Liverpool midfielder. Works it out to Corona. Now at the feet of Otavio, who will look over the top. There's a run, it's from Luis Diaz, and it's a good ball from Otavio. Diaz up against Reece James. James stands his ground though, puts in a strong challenge and wins the ball, but only at the expense of a Porto corner. James is defending well in this game. He's had to, because he's been up against some tricky customers in either Diaz, Corona or Otavio at times. A good source going forward as well for Chelsea, who've done most of their prominent attacking down their right hand side. Cross from Otavio from the corner. Pepe goes up with Mendy. It's into the air. The goalkeeper has a delve. It's cleared off the line, but the referee has already penalised Porto with a free kick. Mbemba can't believe it. The assistant had his flag raised. I wonder if there was an offside in and amongst that. The ball did end up in the back of the net, but long after the whistle had been blown by Slavko Vincic. Just having a look at the replay now. Lovely delivery from Otavio. Pepe beats Mendy in the air, and I think that's where Chancellor Mbemba's adjudged to be offside. He flicks the ball goalwards, cleared off the line by Chilwell. Pepe then puts it into the net, but I think that was the right decision in the end from the officials. Offside. And let off though for Chelsea, and Porto have had a lot of joy from set pieces in this match as they look to break forward. Mbemba striding out from the defence. It's a purposeful run, and he's still going. Chancellor Mbemba, edge of the area, links up with Diaz, who shoots towards goal, and it's inches away from finding the bottom corner. Diaz beats the ground in frustration. It's a really, really good effort on his right foot. Mbemba doing the groundwork. Diaz, I think he feels he's scored when he lets fly, catches it cleanly, curling it towards the corner. Maybe Mendy might have had it covered had it been on target. The goalkeeper looks like he's got his angles pretty well sorted out. But it's a lovely curling effort from Luis Diaz. And another chance for Porto in this game. Only Manchester City have prevented Porto scoring in this season's competition. That was a goalless draw at the Estadio Dragao back in the group stage. Juventus couldn't keep them out. Marseille haven't been able to keep them out. Olympiacos as well during the group stage. So they know where the back of the net is, the Portuguese side. In the midst of a title battle as well in Portugal, although they are 8 points behind leaders Sporting Lisbon in second position. Chelsea, of course, down in fifth in the Premier League after their defeat to West Brom at the weekend, a point outside the top four. As it's a strong run from Mateo Kovacic for the Premier League outfit. His pass through, though, is cut out by Mbemba, and Chilwell rather unceremoniously brings down Otavio. That'll be a free kick to Porto. 57.5 minutes on the clock. Just looking at that Diaz curling effort again. Brilliantly hit. Touch and go whether Mendy would have been saving that. It would have been a top class save had he got his fingertips to it. As his opposite number, Marchesin, sends the ball forward for Porto. Wrestling match between Marega and Rudiger. Both players appealing for the foul. Referee happy for play to go on. Marega back on his feet and biting at the heels of first Kovacic, then Christensen. Now Mendy as well, he's closing down Musa Marega. His clearance upfield, picks the way of Reece James. Jorginho now into Kovacic. Werner's dropped deep to get involved, and he turns and works his way out towards the left-hand side, supported by Chilwell. Werner, though, treads on the ball as he was seemingly trying to make his mind up about what pass to play. Manafa picks up the baton for Porto. Surrounded by 2 or 3 Chelsea players, though, and he loses out. Kovacic to Mount. Back it goes towards Azpilicueta. Mateo Kovacic once more. Chelsea moving the ball around. Kovacic will look to switch the play out to Reece James, who controls nicely on his chest. He's supported by Mason Mount. Mount's return ball, though, to James was one that enticed Sanusi into the challenge, and the defender's able to block the ball out to play for a throw-in, which James takes quickly. That's Azpilicueta. Goes back towards Christensen now. Kovacic sweeps it across to Rudiger, who might fancy a strike. He's 40 yards out. Rudiger hits a target. It's spilled by Marchesin. Werner squares the ball. Oh, and it's wide from Mason Mount. When it looked easier to start this Havertz, it looked easier to score there for Kai Havertz. A huge let-off for Marchesin in the goal. Rudiger's shot. Marchesin spills. Werner unselfishly squares. And under pressure, Kai Havertz from a combination of Mbemba and Pepe, mainly Pepe, can't score. There's claims maybe that Havertz was being fouled in the months. Though, look at the replay now. Did Pepe foul Kai Havertz? No. Judges the referee. VAR's had a look as well. What an opportunity that was, though, for the German. Will Chelsea be made to rue that miss? Marchesin can breathe a huge sigh of relief in the Porto goal. He's relieved that it is still only a 1-0 deficit, his side face. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 it remains, but it really should be 2-0 to the Premier League side. Antonio Rudiger with a drive from fully 40 yards out that forced Marchesin in the Porto goal into the save. It was not a convincing save, though. He spilt it, the Argentine goalkeeper. It fell to Werner. The angle wasn't there for him to shoot, so he played it back across the 6-yard box towards Kai Havertz, who looked like he was going to tap the ball into an empty net, but under pressure from Pepe, he sent his effort wide of the target. So close to Chelsea making it 2-0. At the other end, Porto have come close thanks to a Luis Diaz curler, but it remains Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Yeah, 2 big moments there, 2 big chances for both sides. Chelsea are preparing a substitution, it would seem. It would be the first one for either side of the night. Christian Pulisic and Olivier Giroud. In fact, it's a double change. Just going through their last instructions as corner whipped in by Reece James for Chelsea, dealt with at the front post comfortably enough for Porto. 61.5 minutes on the clock. Porto 0, Chelsea 1 in the first leg of this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie. And the other quarter-final taking place this evening is Bayern Munich 1, PSG 2, as it was at the half-time break at the Allianz Arena. Those 2 Chelsea substitutes still await an opportunity to go on as Chilwell's gone down and referee's going to go to his pocket there. Chancellor Mbemba penalised. He claims there wasn't any contact at all, but he's picked up a yellow card. It's the first booking of the game. It was a rather rash swipe from Mbemba, you would say. Not sure quite how much contact he made with Chilwell, but that might have been because Chilwell was having to jump out of the way. Yeah, I think that was the case. He gets the ball first, Chilwell. Might have just got caught slightly on the shin, but it's a wild swipe from Chancellor Mbemba. A wry smile on his face as he makes his way back into the penalty area. This free kick just over on the left-hand side. Great angle for either Reece James with the right foot to send an in-swinger in, or be an outswinger with Ben Chilwell's left. They might work it short between them as well. Although it is an ideal crossing position. James it is who does take it. It's a dangerous ball in towards the front post. It's another chance. This time it's Azpilicueta who heads wide at the front post. Great ball in from James. He's at full stretch, but I feel like if he makes the contact he does on Azpilicueta, he's going to score. But if anything, it was too good a contact, and he sends it wide of the target. Another opportunity in this second half for Chelsea. Both sides, in fact, creating chances. Will they be made to rue missing them, as Chelsea will have some defending to do. Porto in possession. Grujic on the halfway line. Back to Mbemba. Down the line it goes to Manafa. Mbemba again. Chelsea press Porto all the way back to their goalkeeper Marchesin. His clearance isn't the best. The bouncing ball was one that Kovacic couldn't control. It goes out for a throw-in, and that will spell the double change for Chelsea. Timo Werner is the first player to come off. Pulisic carrying on for him. Hasn't quite been Werner's night. Pulisic is on, and Kai Havertz again missed that great opportunity a few minutes ago. He's going to be replacing Olivier Giroud, a more natural centre forward, coming on. Really effective in both penalty areas. That might be in the mind of Thomas Tuchel, seeing as Porto have had plenty of joy from attacking set pieces in this game without actually scoring. It is still Porto 0, Chelsea 1. It's 2-2 now in the other game in the Champions League this evening. Bayern have come back from 2-0 down to level things up. There's a free kick, I think, goes the way of Chelsea. There's a delay. This is a Porto player down. I'm not sure if Reece James has actually been penalised at the moment. Thomas Muller's scored for Bayern, incidentally. James, he rather shoulders into Sanusi a little bit unnecessarily, using his arm. Painful one for Sanusi, who's gone down. It was just outside the penalty area. I think the referee's given a free kick. Marega indicating to the official that it was an elbow. I don't think it was quite that, but it was a bit unnecessary from Reece James. In fact, no free kick has been given. It will just be a throw-in to Porto over on the left-hand side. There's been a real battle between Sanusi and James on that flank, as Sanusi's cross is cleared away at the front post by Azpilicueta. Manafa is then fouled by Mason Mount, just over on that left-hand side. Porto get on with procedures quickly. Uribe will look to clip the ball over the top. James is able to stop it reaching Diaz. Chelsea now with Mason Mount, the goal scorer. The only goal of the game so far coming from the informed Chelsea attacking midfielder, who's the youngest ever scorer of a knockout goal in the Champions League, incidentally, with that strike in the 32nd minute. Rudiger now looking to feed the ball down the line. It's intercepted by Manafa, but only at the expense of a throw-in. Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Ben Chilwell will take this throw-in for the Blues. 10 yards or so inside the Porto half. Throw is cut out by Manafa, picked up by Corona, who has gone down rather theatrically. It'll be a throw-in though, rather than a free kick for Porto. Probably are thinking about one or two changes of their own. Sergio Conceição will be in discussions with his coaching team. In the meantime, the 11 that started the match remain out there for Porto. One of those, Luis Diaz, in possession, goes back to Pepe. Mbemba back across towards Pepe again, who's been there, done that in terms of winning the Champions League. He feeds it across to Otavio, who's not quite having the influence on the second half as he did on the first. Although it's similar in terms of possession, with Chelsea dominating as they were in the first. You always felt Porto create quite a few chances in that first half. Had Chelsea under control for large parts and looked more of a threat themselves going forward. At the moment, though, it's Chelsea who look the more threatening of the two sides and the more likely, if we are to see a second goal in this game, for them to get it. Rudiger sending an early free kick forward, trying to catch Porto out, but it's well dealt with by Jesus Corona, who again has gone down. Gingerly gets back to his feet as play continues around him. It's Grujic for Porto. Feeds it forward. Diaz Knocks it back to Uribe, who lifts over the top. Marega, can he get on the end of that? Rudiger comes across and is able to scoop the ball out to play for a throw-in. For a second, Musa Marega was going to be able to get a shot away. Rudiger made sure he couldn't. Into the final quarter of the contest now. Porto 0, Chelsea 1, as I do Sanusi. We saw in the first half, has a long throw. He's standing over this one for Porto, and he will hurl it into the penalty area. Flicked on by Pepe. Marega gets a shot away, but it lacks the power that was required as he tried to turn, shoot and control all really in one movement. Dragged it rather into the near post, and Mendy possibly didn't need to throw himself to the floor as he did to save that. One for the cameras perhaps, but made sure nonetheless. Chelsea now in possession. Azpilicueta over on the right hand side. It's a sloppy ball in field though from him. Porto have it. Sanusi to Diaz. 3 Chelsea players around him. Squeezes it back towards Sanusi, who protects the ball well. They've worked it nicely. Sanusi, that's a lovely run down the left hand side. I think he's a better attacking fullback than he is a defensive one. He seems to be down in a bit of pain there. Reece James guilty of upending him. He's slamming the floor. Sanusi in pain, clutching the lower part of that left leg, maybe the left knee. Certainly seems to be in a lot of pain. Stepped away from Azpilicueta, actually brought him down. The scissor challenge on that left leg in the end. That was pretty inadvertent the way he brought him down. I think Azpilicueta was off balance at the time. But Sanusi in a fair bit of pain, slamming the floor, as I say, in discomfort. And he's receiving treatment. Referee, in fact, just urging Porto to move him off the pitch slightly so play can continue and the free kick can be taken over on that left-hand touchline. He's gingerly getting back to his feet now. Otavio is standing over the free kick, pretty much waiting for his teammate to move so he can have the room to swing it in. Referee making sure Sanusi has gone off the pitch as well. Otavio's delivery into the box. Mbemba forward, Pepe forward. Grujic is an aerial target. Marega an obvious one as well. Otavio has provided plenty of quality so far in this game. It's another good looking ball. This one headed away though by Reece James. Sliding play from Diaz there, just sending it all the way back to his goalkeeper so Porto can restart. Marchesin will lift it forward out towards the left hand flank. Sanusi is back on the pitch incidentally, and he'll take what is a throw in for Porto midway inside the Chelsea half. 19 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Sanusi throw. Marega goes down in the area under the challenge from Azpilicueta. He claims penalty. The referee says no. VAR will be able to have a look at any potential foul. Porto now have a free kick on the halfway line, but it's the foul in the penalty box that is the interesting one, and the referee is taking on some advice from VAR. Marega, there were 2 hands in the back from Azpilicueta, but it goes down rather theatrically, and yet the referee happy, and the VAR team happy that he went down too easily there. No penalty given. Porto have possession of Manafa. Almost gifted it to Pulisic. Will be a throw-in though to Porto, which the right back will take. Porto will have Mendy E and Sergio Oliveira most likely back for the second leg next week. Those 2 players suspended for this first leg. Taremi was actually sent off in the second leg of the last 16 tie against Porto. It was PSG have retaken lead. What a game that is in the match available on this service this evening in the Champions League. It's Bayern Munich 2 at PSG 3 now. Kylian Mbappe with his second of the game. Antonio Rudiger prevents the corner there from a Chelsea point of view. Be a throw-in instead for Porto. Otavio takes it, gets it back from Corona. He's worked his way into the penalty area now. Otavio, it breaks to Uribe on the edge of the box. Marega, trying to overplay it perhaps a little bit there, and Chelsea can scramble it clear. Porto will come again though, trying to up the tempo. Claims of handball against Chilwell, not given. Will be another Porto throw-in now. Manafa takes it towards Uribe. Sergio Conceição was acting as ball boy, and the referee not happy actually. I think he's going to book Sergio Conceição. Yellow card for the Porto coach. He stretched and controlled the ball as I think it was Christian Pulisic was trying to keep it in play, but I'm pretty sure it had gone out. Maybe he was out of his technical area and the referee took exception to that. Yellow card though for the Porto boss. Play continues. Mbemba to Marega. Out to Corona. Kicks the ball forward, looking for Musa Marega again. Jorginho is able to intercept and Chelsea get the throw in their left-back area. Just looking at the penalty appeal once again when Marega went down. There is a push from Azpilicueta. The argument is it is clumsy, and that was what Marega was indicating to the referee, but again he went down rather easily. I would say he was looking for the penalty. There's a foul there by Uribe on Chilwell. Porto pressing there. You can see they're trying to up the tempo in these final 20 minutes, find an equalising goal. A foothold to take into the second leg. Back at the Ramón Sánchez Pizjuán in 6 days' time. It'll be deja vu for these two teams on April the 13th. On that occasion, Chelsea will be the home team, though. Pepe has the ball for Porto. Works it across to Mbemba. Manafa now. Quick ball down the line is blocked by Kovacic. Porto want handball. It's not forthcoming. Kovacic now into Pulisic. Back to Christensen. Chelsea don't need to force the issue. This would be a good position to take into that second leg. A 1-0 lead, an away goal, a clean sheet. Kind of what we've come to expect under Thomas Tuchel with Chelsea. Apart from, of course, that game against West Brom at the weekend, which ended somehow in a 5-2 victory for the Baggies. Into the closing stages, still Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Porto feeling aggrieved, though. They felt they should have had a penalty when Musa Marega went down in the area. Says that Azpilicueta had two hands in the back of the forward, although he went down rather easily, and I think that influenced the decision of both the referee and the VAR team. Azpilicueta at the other end has had Chelsea's best chance over recent minutes, heading wide from a Reece James free kick. It does feel like there are more goals in this game as we tick into the closing exchanges. It's Porto 0, Chelsea 1. Marega there trying to make inroads down the right hand side for Porto, but he's run out of room, so it'll be a Chelsea goal kick. Still, Porto haven't used any substitutes, incidentally, which is rather surprising at this late stage. Chelsea have made the two alterations with Pulisic and Giroud coming on for Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. There's a goal kick taken forward there by Edouard Mendy. Headed clear by Sanusi, who beats James in the air. Pulled back with Mendy once again for Chelsea. Lays the ball off to Andreas Christensen, who will look to build from the back now. Azpilicueta into Jorginho's feet. It's a rather wayward ball from him, although Sanusi's interception lands at the feet of Reece James. Giroud now bustled off the ball. Often see that. Grujic picks up Marega. Nice layoff into the path of Otavio, who can't quite find Corona on the right hand side. It's cleared by Chilwell. Ty feels on a knife edge at the moment. Pepe tidying up at the back for Porto. Marchesin puts his foot through the ball, but hasn't looked that comfortable with his kicking, in truth, the goalkeeper this evening, and he sends it straight out to play into touch for a throw-in, as we're going to see. Perhaps a sign of Chelsea shutting up shop in these closing minutes as N'Golo Kante and Thiago Silva, defensive nous, experiencer, about to enter the fray for Thomas Tuchel's side. In the meantime, Rudiger has it for Chelsea, worked out to Chilwell on the left, heavy touch, and he's given the ball away. Grujic has it. Driving run from Marco Grujic. Needs some support, gets it from Corona, who steps away from Chilwell superbly. Corona now, can't quite feed it into Marega, who tried to take it in his stride and wasn't quite able to do so. Manafa now for Porto. Into Grujic. Otavio on the right, early cross. Oh, it's a good-looking ball as well. Diaz brings it down, but with under pressure from both James and Azpilicueta, can't get a shot away. James then battling away with Uribe, and he's able to come away with the ball. It clears up towards Giroud, who's beaten in the air by Mbemba. Otavio flicks it on. Marega now back to Otavio. Supported by Corona on the right, but he's just trying to take one touch too many, and then there's a really crunching foul in the middle of the park by Grujic. I think it's Kovacic he's maybe taken out. It's a definite yellow card. In fact, it's Pulisic, I think, who's gone down. Grujic taking one for the team there. It's an ugly looking challenge in truth. Yellow card for the Serbian. Joins his teammate Mbemba in the book. Pulisic was stepping inside and he rather wipes it out, and it's a shoulder to the face of Christian Pulisic, who I think was the victim of being considerably shorter than Marko Grujic, which is why it was a shoulder to the face. It wasn't a deliberate ploy from Grujic, I don't think, as Chelsea's goal scorer is the first player who's being replaced in this double change. N'Golo Kante on for him. And Thiago Silva, who lasted 29 minutes of his comeback from injury before being sent off against West Brom at the weekend, is going to come on to replace Reece James. So I imagine Cesar Azpilicueta will move to right wing back, or may almost be just a right back there. I think that's Thomas Tuchel noticing that Porto have done a lot of their attacking down that left hand side. Sanusi getting forward to support the likes of Luis Diaz, Corona, Otavio. Kante will sit in the middle of the park alongside Jorginho and Kovacic, nullify that space for Porto to work in. Pulisic and Giroud really the only out-and-out attacking players on the pitch, as Pulisic finds Azpilicueta on the overlap. His cross into the box is dealt with. Comes to Rudiger for Chelsea. Kovacic to Pulisic. Those to exchange passes midway inside Porto's half. Giroud getting involved. Pulisic trying to return it to Kovacic, who continued his run forward. Manafa is able to intercept. Marega now turning. He's deep inside his own half there. The Porto centre forward, not exactly where he would want it. And Chelsea are able to recycle possession. We're into the final 10 minutes. We're bringing you independent off-tube studio commentary. Still Porto 0, Chelsea 1 in this Champions League quarter-final first leg tie. The other tie taking place this evening is still Bayern Munich 2, Paris Saint-Germain 3. So away sides on top in the Champions League this Wednesday. Still time though for Porto to turn this one around. Chelsea in possession though. Thiago Silva almost brings the game to a standstill as he holds on to the ball. Finds Kante, his fellow sub, and that's a wayward bomb from N'Golo Kante, perhaps getting his eye in. And straight out play for a throw-in. Not long in a match like this though to get your eye in. Sanusi will take this resulting throw-in, gets it back off Otavio. Goes down looking for a foul, and he doesn't even get the throw-in there. The left back, as Porto are going to make some changes now. 3 in fact are going to be entering the fray. Francisco Conceição, who is the son, incidentally, of Sergio Conceição, is one of the players awaiting to come on. He's just 18 years of age. As meanwhile, Chelsea coming forward with N'Golo Kante. He's challenged well by Manafa, and clears up towards Musa Maregu. Tries to turn away from Jorginho, puts in a good strong challenge. Goes out of play for a throw on the halfway line. That might spell the triple change. Francisco Conceição is coming on for Manafa. So forward for a fullback. So that's the first change. Just 18 years of age, as I say. Conceição. Marega's surprisingly one of the players coming off as well for Porto. So a change in attack. And Otavio, the other player, coming off. Perhaps tired in this second half. Fabio Vieira is one of the players coming on. midfield player. He's on for Otavio, just waiting confirmation of the third Porto change. Vieira only 20, Conceição 18, so two very young players coming on. Just waiting that third and final substitution to be confirmed. Play has resumed, incidentally. Kovacic has it in the middle of the park, interchange with Giroud. Kovacic now driving forward, looking to release Pulisic. Pulisic strike towards goal off the crossbar and cleared away just about by Vieira. Porto's confusion from that triple change maybe allowed Chelsea to get in behind, and Pulisic almost exploited that. The other change is Tony Martinez, incidentally, who came on. That's a couple of really good opportunities that Chelsea have had in this second half. And perhaps they'll feel they should be 2 goals to the good at least now. The Porto have a chance as well, as there's a mistake at the back, and it's a chance now for Ben Chilwell, who rounds the goalkeeper. Chilwell for Chelsea makes it 2-0. He capitalises on a mistake from Jesus Corona, who miscontrolled, and he's able to find the back of the net. Corona, who's almost gone as an auxiliary right back, fails to control, and it's really brilliant from Chilwell. Composure personified. Corona's mistake. Chilwell capitalises. He rounds Marchesin after holding off Mbemba and taps the ball into the empty net with his unfavoured right foot. Brilliant for Chelsea. Porto 0, Chelsea 2. A crucial second goal for Chelsea. Ben Chilwell, the unlikely scorer, capitalising on a mistake by Jesus Corona at the back for Porto. He miscontrolled. Chilwell picked the ball up. He was breaking down one-on-one on the goal. He rounds Marchesin and finishes calmly with his right foot into the back of the empty net. Porto made 3 substitutions to try and find an equaliser in this game. As soon as those substitutions were made, there was confusion in their ranks. Pulisic hit the crossbar, and seconds later Chilwell has made it Porto 0, Chelsea 2. Ben Chilwell with 5 minutes remaining. Porto have gone chasing a goal that they haven't been able to get, and now they do really need a goal just to keep themselves within touching distance in this tie. 2-0. It's a long way back for them in the second leg, albeit it won't be an out-and-out away game, because it will be played again at the Ramón Sánchez Pizjuán on neutral territory. But Chelsea are in a very strong position, you would say, to make it through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Porto 0, Chelsea 2. We've got 4 minutes plus stoppage time to play at the end of this game, as Vieira scoops the ball out towards Sanusi on the left-hand side. He loses possession though. Now into Jorginho for Chelsea, who was criticised for his performance against West Brom at the weekend. Not the only player for Chelsea, but his performance this evening has been top draw. No one's really put a foot wrong in a Chelsea shirt. This is almost a perfect away performance, even if it's a performance on neutral territory, but technically an away performance for Chelsea in the Champions League. How crucial could that goal be? Ben Chilwell strike. Chelsea's searching for a third goal, which might actually kill off the tie before the second leg. Sanusi forced to just clear into touch. Still Bayern Munich 2, PSG 3 elsewhere in the Champions League, incidentally. Chelsea have a throw on the right hand side. Says that Azpilicueta takes it, gets it back from N'Golo Kante. They run out of room though over on that right hand flank, Chelsea, and it goes out for a Porto throw instead. 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time to play at the end of this match. Marchesin taking a bit of a chance at the back there for Porto. Finds Sanusi, who clears down the line. Thiago Silva though there to head the ball clear. Plenty of experience on the pitch for Chelsea as they look to see out this scoreline or perhaps improve on it. Kovacic, middle of the park, just rolls the ball back to Rudiger, and across it goes to Andreas Christensen. Silva's gone to the centre of the back three since coming on incidentally, moving Christensen to the right, and as I mentioned, Azpilicueta now as the right wing back. Kovacic again for Chelsea, looking over the top towards Giroud. It's too much on it though, and Marchesin will be able to gather. He quickly bowls the ball out into Grujic's feet. Mbemba back into Marco Grujic. Pepe will now look long and angles it out towards the right hand side. Rudiger will chest it down. It's not the best control from him, picked up by now across to Luis Diaz. Feeds a angle ball. He was looking for the run, I think, of Corona. Cut out by Chilwell. Chelsea will look to break forward. Pulisic comes into a bit of trouble. It's scrappy in the middle of the park. Grujic will pick it up. He loses possession though. Chilwell's able to clear upfield. Porto are forced to scamper to get hold of the ball again. We're into the final minute of the 90. Pepe has it for the Portuguese side, looking to try and find a goal which would give them a foothold at least to take into next week's second leg. Martinez touches the ball back to Grujic and out to the right hand side with Conceição. Puts his head down. He's got support from Corona. Tries to deliver a cross. It's blocked by Chilwell and out to play for a throw-in. Corona will take it. Looks like he's going to line up a long throw. Can Porto find a goal? Chelsea desperately trying to keep hold of this clean sheet, which would put them in such a strong position heading into the second leg. Corona hurls the ball into the box from the throw. Chilwell heads clear it, comes back to the throw-in taker. Corona lifts it left-footed towards the far post. Mendy comes and claims commandingly it was a hanging cross that invited the goalkeeper out. We're into 3 minutes of stoppage time. Chelsea are preparing their fifth substitution. Emerson looks like he's going to enter the fray shortly for a cameo appearance. Rudiger has it for Chelsea into the feet of Jorginho. Thiago Silva now interchanging with Christensen. Trying to play the way out. Chelsea, almost a mistake from Jorginho. They want to take too many chances at this late stage. Kovacic, trusting his ability, does well. Plays it forward towards Kante, who's driving. He's got Pulisic to his left, Giroud to his right. Kovacic joining in support as well. Kovacic now out to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side, who has to stretch to try and keep it in play, but wasn't quite able to do so at this late stage. That might spell the introduction of Emerson Palmieri. Indeed, he is going to come on. And it's Matteo Kovacic who's going to be replaced. Emerson, the Italian international, hasn't featured too much of late. Third choice left back really behind Ben Chilwell and Marcus Alonso. He's on for the remaining 90 seconds or so of stoppage time. As Jesus Corona has it for Porto. Back into Mbemba. Across to Pepe, who will angle it back out to Corona on the right hand side. He's been closed down by the substitute Emerson. Lifts it over the top. Martinez to Conceição. He dips in onto his left foot. Finds Vieira. Pepe will feed the ball forward. It's well controlled by Diaz. Was he fouled there? Yes, he was, by Andreas Christensen. So there is a free kick. We're into the final minute of stoppage time. This could be the last chance for Porto to half the deficit heading into the second leg next week. I feel they could do with a goal to really give them something to build on ahead of that fixture on Tuesday. Fabio Vieira standing over the free kick. Pepe's forward and Mbemba's forward from the back. Chelsea still trying to hold a high line out towards the edge of the penalty area. It's a left of centre free kick, about 40 yards away from the goal. Can Vieira find some quality with this delivery? Left-footed ball. It is a good ball just over the head of Chancellor Mbemba, and Martinez trying to keep it alive on the right-hand side, wasn't quite able to do so. That will probably be just about that in terms of this first leg we've had over the 3 minutes of stoppage time. It's only Rudiger just getting some treatment for cramp in the penalty area. As he jumped and challenged for that ball, he landed awkwardly with Mbemba. He's feeling the effects of that, Rudiger. Back on his feet, just has to see out the remaining seconds, really. Edouard Mendy standing over what is actually a free kick for Chelsea. And you feel once the goalkeeper sends this ball forward, that will be that. We'll get the referee's final whistle. Mendy does lift it forward, and that's exactly what happens from Slavko Vincic. And the game is over. It was a game really finely balanced for large spells, but Chelsea have taken their chances. They've beaten Porto by 2-0 at the Ramón Sánchez Pizjuán. 2 away goals, with Mason Mount opening the scoring in the first half before Ben Chilwell capitalising on a mistake from Jesus Corona. Made it 2-0 with just 5 minutes remaining. That could prove crucial heading into the second leg next Tuesday. Chelsea will feel perhaps they have 1 foot in the Champions League semi-finals. The full-time score, Porto 0, Chelsea 2.